Welcome to Free Beer Friday, powered in part by Classic of Denton.
Hey guys!
Hey!
Welcome back to another episode of Free Beer Friday. Oh, everybody out there is waving too. I'm sorry, we were waving to the audience online too. So if y'all aren't here, just like every Free Beer Friday, our guests give away samples. And my guest this week, Mark Germany with Ralvin Ciders.
Hi everybody, how y'all doing?
Bam! And your host, as always, Ben Easley from the Bearded Monk. We come down here, we do a show, we give away samples, we go back to the Monk, and it's Shotgun Friday, and we partied up.
Sometimes that happens, yes.
Yeah, sometimes that happens. So anyway.
Can I first state that every time I hear that intro,
Yeah.
I'm a fan of your show myself.
Oh, well, thank you, sir.
But every time
Thank
I hear
you.
the intro, I cannot get it out of my head. For like 2 days straight. I'm
follows
like
you on, right?
whistling along with
Yeah.
it. It's the craziest thing.
Are you whistling in the shower?
No.
That was our hope. That's why we did that song.
But I'll be out working in the vineyard, and I'm like, you know?
All right.
I'm like, what is that from?
Where did I get that? It's what happens when you listen to the show over and over again.
Well, cheers to Free Beer
yeah.
Friday.
Dude, and thank you for bringing these samples.
You're
this
very
is some
welcome.
great stuff. Okay, let's dig in.
Okay.
First to start with, Ralvin Ciders. Give me the history on the name.
Oh, Ralvin Ciders is my grandfather, or was my grandfather. So one day we were trying to come up with a name, and it's like naming a band. You know, you come up with all these things like unicorn horn and crazy things, and you're like, what am I even talking about? And so I started trying to create a logo, just messing around with the software that I had, and made this thing and did Ralvin Ciders and sent it to my mom, and she was like, that's awesome. Like, you have to do that.
Mom approved.
Mom approved.
Oh,
I know, right?
Mom.
And so my wife, Shay, she was like, yeah, this is the most genius thing I've ever seen. So we just kind of ran with it.
So not Ralvin Souders, your grandfather.
Correct.
Ralvin Ciders, the homage cidery to him.
Absolutely.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
Do we have any history on this guy? Why?
So Ralvin was an interesting man. He was he served in the Navy for a extended period of time. He ended up being a harbor master at one point. But while he was in the Navy, he served on a ship called the USS Daly.
Uh-huh.
USS Daly was coming into dock but trying to run out fuel and got hit by a rogue wave and washed 8, I think, men overboard. No, 9 men, including himself. He saved 2. Unfortunately, 6 didn't quite make it through. I know things just took a really weird turn here.
It got real dumb.
But you know, the great side of that
stories.
is he came through, even succumbing to injuries, was able to save 2 men's lives, put them on a life raft. My mom actually reached out to these people, and they absolutely just talk through the roof for this guy.
Right
and
on.
I unfortunately didn't get to spend a whole lot of time with my grandfather. The time that I did spend was awesome.
Yeah.
But I live my life through the tales of Ralvin Souders, and so I really wanted to kind of embody who he was by using his name to represent what we do.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
Right on. Right on. Well, and what can we expect out of Ralvin? Like, what are we drinking right now?
So right now, I'm a very punny guy. In case you've
Please
never,
tell me
you've
Ralvin
never
Souders
noticed
was like told dad jokes all the time too.
So what we're drinking here is Janis Joplin.
Ah, nice. Nice.
So Janis Joplin's favorite drink was Southern Comfort with lime. So when I made this cider, I set out to try to recreate that.
Nice.
So Southern Comfort is very apricot forward. Some say it was made with peach. Nobody really knows. We went with apricot.
Gotcha.
Apricot, vanilla beans. We aged it on American oak to try to get that kind of whiskey aspect to it. Mm-hmm. And then dry hopped it with citra hops to kind of add in that citrusy type flavor. So the citra hops is the lime, basically.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. This is a very boozy cider at 12.5%. So take it easy.
Gotcha. Yeah, this thing, you could drink these all night long and then stand up and realize what you did.
Dude, this is a light switch cider, as I like to call it. You have about 4 or 5, and you're like, I'm fine. Now, I don't recommend that.
That's right.
TABC, if you're watching, I don't recommend that.
Drink responsibly. Drink responsibly. Oh man. Well, what else should we expect?
Well,
out of Ralvin when it gets up and running.
So absolutely. Our commitment is to always make boozier ciders. Nobody's really doing this that I can really find. And there's a reason for that. Is extracting sugars from apples is a little bit more difficult. And there's a lower Brix content, which is the sugar content of an apple. So there's less sugar to turn into alcohol. By also using concentrate as well, we can bring that sugar content up.
Right on.
In the craft beer industry, I've noticed that there is a definite leaning towards ABV. If you look at some of the decision-making processes that people look for when purchasing a craft beer, ABV, packaging, and style are probably in the 3 top things that people really look for. So whenever we decided to make a cider, we really wanted to tap more into the craft beer industry than into the cider industry. We want some crossover business from the two. So going forward, we're planning on making all 10% or above ciders. They will always touch oak. They will always be dry hopped. The exception to that is we will make a quarterly seasonal. That seasonal will be a session cider.
Okay.
And it'll rotate based on what's in season, fruit-wise, to be used. There may be some exceptions to that, and we'll kind of deal with the logistics of that going forward.
But we've got something to look forward
absolutely.
to, some changing over.
You know, you got to have a session drinker. I mean, nobody wants to just sit there and drink 2 and forget their night.
Dude, yeah, this would be trouble. Like if I went out to a cidery on a day like today,
dude,
and sat around for 4 hours
there's
drinking
no
these,
doubt about it.
yeah, you're done.
Well, I mean, it's a sleeper. You know, you taste it and you're like, there's not alcohol in this.
There's nothing
punch.
in there. Oh, this is beautiful. Well, then I'm getting wine qualities off of this as well.
So, by trade, I work in the wine industry. So about 2 years ago, I left the retail industry. I'd been working in the retail industry for 16 years. And as anybody that's worked in the retail industry can tell you, it's pretty taxing over time. So when I left, my wife was like, well, what are you going to do? Got to do something.
And Shay is so nicely sitting out there taking
I gotta
care
say,
of the sample table.
My wife is out there kicking butt right now, serving cider, selling it. She's got everybody engaged right now. She is a rock. She's super supportive.
Right on.
I could not be doing this without her. And let me tell you this. She's also very business savvy, so she's going to be the one that's really going to be making this business operate.
While you cider it up.
Wait,
what do you say? Cider? Well, you don't brew it. Distill it?
You're still a winemaker.
What is that process? Fermenting?
Fermenting.
That's just it?
It's fermentation science is really all it is.
Okay.
So I feel like I lost your question. Where were we?
Oh, I don't remember. I go off on so many tangents anyway,
See,
man.
the cider's working.
Yeah. Hey, cheers to this. Yeah. Can we get like 4 more of these, please? Can we do this? We were getting into where you came from. And Shay very, very smartly said you can't sit around on your tuchus. You had to go do
you can't
something.
Just be an Uber driver for a living, Mark.
Come on.
That's not what she sounds like. I'm kidding.
Luckily, she's talking. She did not hear that. Shay, when you watch this later, we apologize. Yes.
No, I've always had a passion to create. I've been a musician in my life. I once thought I wanted to be an artist. I once thought I wanted to be a writer. I've tried a little bit of everything in my life, I feel like. But at the end of the day, I've always wanted to create something, and I've always wanted to go in business for myself. I think a lot of people that have that entrepreneurial spirit go, I'm tired of working for somebody else. It gets old.
Yeah.
So she said, well, you've always thought about opening a brewery.
It's not going to get sunny today.
Not going to work.
Yeah.
But she's like, you always thought about opening a brewery. How about wine instead? You seem way more passionate about wine, and I always have been. And I've thought about it before. But I always thought that you had to move to California or move to France to be a winemaker.
But we've got a bit of an industry in this state, don't we?
Dude, it's growing like crazy. There's over 350 bonded wineries in the state of Texas now. It's growing like crazy.
Golly.
Yeah.
Okay.
And grapes grow well here. Different varieties of grapes than you would see in maybe parts of California and such. But the industry's gotten really good. And what's great about the industry is there's a lot of education backing up what the industry is trying to achieve right now. There are 3 educational institutions that are teaching viticulture and enology. Viticulture is the study of grape growing or vine growing. Enology is the study of winemaking. Enology.
Okay.
Yep.
See, this is going way beyond Free Beer Friday.
Of course.
Yeah.
So you have Grayson College up in Denison, Texas. You have Texas A&M, and you have Texas Tech. Those are the three. I went to Grayson College. They have the T.V. Munson Viticulture and Enology Center. T.V. Munson is actually touted as being the person that saved the French wine industry. He was the person that figured out grafting American rootstock to Vitis vinifera, which is French wine grapes. That rootstock was less susceptible or resistant to phylloxera, which was wiping out France. So T.V. Munson, who lived in Denison, Texas, of all places,
said, "Here's how I'm going to save the French wine industry."
Here you go, guys. I'm sure that's not what he sounded like.
Hey, y'all, I brought some roots.
Y'all
What's
want
going
some
on?
roots? Yeah. So, the background is I started out as really wanting to be a winemaker. In the middle of that, I was like, there is a hole in the craft beverage industry, and that is cider. I mean, we've got Bishop Ciders and we've got Outlaw Ciders in the DFW area. Well, hey guys, the DFW area is what, 5 million people now?
Yeah,
it's huge.
Yeah.
So there's this massive market
40-something breweries now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just an opportunity to get in there and take some market share. Hey guys, if you're listening, we can all share.
Yeah.
But the thing that sets us apart is we're doing something very different than what they're doing. Outlaw Ciders, for example, and love those guys. Sloan and Williams is running that. They're doing some really interesting stuff. I think you guys carry some of their stuff sometimes.
Yeah, I think we've got the full line right now.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Hey, we're getting thumbs up from outside. Yes. So my best friend in the whole world from, I don't know, decades at this point, is standing outside giving me a big old thumbs up. So I'm loving that. But yeah, so they're doing interesting things, but nobody's really doing what we're doing.
Yeah, because we're not talking about sessionable stuff overall here.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm kind of worried now. I'm getting to the end of that first little
should
tiny
we have
cup.
somebody bring you another one, or
We can get out there in a minute.
Kidding.
We're going to – well, I'm going to get one when we go back outside. That's for sure. I want to sample with everybody else.
Absolutely. Everybody out there is having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we know why now.
Well, so you came out of this wine growing program.
Right.
And you went into the wine world.
Yes,
right?
and still am. I'm still very actively involved. I work for a winery up in St. Joe, Texas. For those of you that don't know where St. Joe, Texas is, it is about 9 miles south of the Oklahoma border, a little bit northwest of Denton, about 53 miles if you want to be exact, in the Red River Valley. Perfectly suited for growing grapes. There are three wineries up there. So there's RK Winery, that's who I work for. There's Blue Ostrich Winery, which actually there's some representation from there here tonight too.
Cool.
Awesome family. And then you have 4R Ranch, which is owned by the Roper family from Dallas. So that area has become like North Texas wine country.
Cool. Very cool.
Also, one of my classmates, Christy Tullis, she just put in a vineyard in Montague, which is a little bit more southwest of St. Joe. So there's even more on the way in.
Growth here.
Absolutely.
But still no cideries, huh?
No cideries.
Yeah. Hence,
So here's where the idea originally came from is I'd be working in the tasting room at RK, and you'd have these guys coming in with their wives. The wives want to taste wine. They're like, "You got any beer?" I'm like, no, but I should. But you can't serve beer in a winery. It's a different license. It's a Winery G license, and it only allows wine. You can have other people's wines. You can have guest wines if you want to. You can distill up to a certain amount per year, but you can't serve those distillates. They have to go into your fortified wines. But cider is a wine. So effectively, if we wanted to, and if these wineries were interested, we could distribute to these wineries and even fill a further hole in their service portion where, hey, you got that guy that comes in, hey, you got any beer? No, but I have hopped cider, and I think you're going to love this.
Right on.
They get that effervescence. They get the hops. It's pretty similar to a beer.
I love this.
Yeah.
So you're looking at the beer market Because you're also pretty involved in the beer world.
Love it.
You know, I know you love beer. So you're looking at the beer market, you're also looking at the cider market, and you're looking at the wine market.
Of course.
So I love that idea because there is so much division. Well, I say division, not like that's in the industry or anything, but in the market.
I try to research as much as
Don't
possible.
jump a lot. Well, there you go. Well, and so what are the plans here? Because we've talked about why Denton.
So Denton, man, the people here are something else, man. There is just this unbelievable aura, if that's the word I really want to use here. But, I mean, just the spirit of Denton is unreal. People get behind local businesses. We are recent transplants here. We moved here in September. I lived in Allen for 10 years before that. My wife was with me for a portion of that. And we started kind of figuring out where we wanted to settle. When we came and visited Denton, we were like, yeah.
Done.
Here we are.
Yeah.
We're home. Then met you guys. And once I started coming to the Bearded Monk, I started going like, all right, like these people are a family. And then Denton County Brewing Company, I'm like, these people are a family. And then they intermingle a little bit. And then you got Eastside, and these people are a family. And then they're supporting these businesses over here. And this restaurant just opened, and everybody loves that, so everybody's going there. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy the support, especially right here on the square and right off the square. So with that said, we really would like to be, I mean, if we could be on the square, that'd be wonderful. But financially, I don't think that makes sense for us. So off the square is where we'd really like to settle. We've actually just started an Indiegogo campaign.
Right on.
So actually just went live today.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the link. I guess, can we put the link in the description of this video? Is that cool? Cool. And I know that it's in the description of the event. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool.
Or if if you want to, just go to Indiegogo.com and search Ralvin Ciders, Ralvin.
That
and it'll come right up.
Yield more than one Indiegogo at a time.
Shouldn't. So going back to Ralvin, I found out from my mother last night talking to her about this that this legend is not true. But there used to be a story that circulated about Ralvin that when he was born, his father was a little inebriated when he was born, and the nurse or the doctor was like, well, what do you want to name your son? And he's like, Ralvin. But that has been since debunked.
Oh, I would keep that story, man. That's fun. That's a lot of fun. Like a lineage of
Well, I've been told this story my whole life, and then I called my mom last night. I was like, I just want to make sure I got this right before I go on this radio show. And she's like, yeah, actually, this is the real thing.
It's just fun family legend. All right.
A family's got to have legends, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Of course.
It's absolutely fair. I think we all do.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so you want to look at cidery here around the square.
Of course.
And then you've got plans for the future. I mean, it doesn't end there, right?
So at the end of the day, I started this whole venture to be a winemaker. And yes, making cider is making wine. And I love it because I get to be very experimental with it. And now that I've started doing it, I'll never stop.
Right on.
It's
You mean
a lot of fun. Cider.
Cider.
But I do really, really still want to achieve the goal of making and creating a very high-quality premium Texas winery. So from an investment standpoint, the cidery business really, really makes sense to help us fund for our future, in which we will be able to have our cidery and we'll also be able to have our winery in the conglomeration of both. We actually will fall under an LLC, so SMG Cellars. So my wife is Shay. I'm Mark, Germany.
Nice.
SMG Cellars, and I was like, that sounds awesome.
Sounds
like an action movie. But anyway, so it gives us the opportunity to do DBAs and create brands.
Right on.
I mean, you think about companies like Constellation Brands. I mean, they owned thousands of brands.
Yeah.
I'm not
the
saying
guys that just bought Ballast Point about a year ago.
I'm not saying that we'll ever be able to get to that level, but we may. You never know.
I like that.
I like to dream big. So you never know what can happen.
Right on. Well, I'm excited about the next step.
Yeah.
Just getting the cidery open. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, we're tasting the Janice Hopland now. We just started another one. I'm not going to tell you the name yet because we haven't decided for sure, but it's another punny one.
Okay, nice. Nice.
But we got blackberries from Cook Family Farms.
Nice.
So Nick Cook, he is a awesome guy. He was able to secure about 11 pounds of blackberries from his family's farm.
Golly.
Brought them over. We labored through getting them thawed out and getting them juiced and added to the cider. So it's still going to be predominantly apple, but it's like blood red. It's like this color red right here.
Nice.
It's awesome. So it's about 2 days away from being done fermenting. It's going to be about 11%. It's going to age on French oak, and then that's going to get Denali hops.
Nice.
So it's made in the same recipe fashion that I use for a staple cider that we have called Denali Dawn. Denali Dawn is always apples and Denali hops. This is going to be a variation on that where it's like a blackberry Denali Dawn. But I think we're going to completely rename this one and kind of go somewhere else with it. But French oak is also a different edition. We've usually done French and American.
Okay, and then blended the two.
Right.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
All right.
So that's
this
what's
is
coming through the
awesome.
pipeline.
This is fun stuff to taste and try. But
Absolutely.
now we got to get the cidery open. So,
dude, yeah.
can
So
actually
go to
public.
Indiegogo.com. I'm depending on you, Denton. Even non-Dentonites love you too. You know, and this is a very sore thing for me. I'm not big on asking people for money, but you know, this is an opportunity for Dentonites to go, hey, I'm part of something bigger.
Right on. Right on. Well, that was the beginning of Armadillo.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah. That was the beginning of this radio station.
Hey, we're glad you guys are here, by the way.
Right.
You guys are doing an awesome job.
All the faces in the background. Yeah. Well, should we go do some more drinking?
Probably. We forgot something.
Oh.
We forgot our Fred Durst mic check.
No, you were on your own.
You don't
want
to do that?
No, you were on your own.
Okay.
On that.
All right.
Off-camera
Plum
mic
out,
check.
guys. Yeah.
This is what happens before the cameras and the mics turn on. Yeah. I like to keep the man behind the curtain well hidden.
Right?
All right, let's go do some drinking.
Awesome, man. Thanks for having me on. I really
Absolutely.
appreciate you.
And you guys, come join us right here or come join us back at the Bearded Monk later for the party.
We'll be here to what time?
And we're here till 8:30.
8:30.
And then we head back to the Monk and party it up. And we're
Over
also
yonder.
doing Nurse Appreciation Night.
Nurse
Yep.
appreciation.
That's right. So nurses get the first beer free tonight.
Whoa.
Yep, with a badge.
Man.
How about that? Yeah.
All
All right.
right.
Let's go start. Let's get in trouble so we can walk this stuff
All
back.
Thank
All
you, guys.
Bye, guys. Thanks for joining us again. We'll see you next week. Hey, guys. Ben Easley from the Bearded Monk, here to talk about Free Beer Friday, our show here on Denton Radio. If you want to learn everything about craft beer in Denton, Texas, the world, oh man, download Free Beer Friday everywhere you find podcasts.
Well, thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to check out DentonRadio.com for new Denton artists and where they're playing next. While you're surfing the internet, make sure you check out our friends Classic of Denton at ClassicofDenton.com.